ask yourself a damn question. Is winning the only thing to you?
Sports today are not just played on the field. They're played every day, online, all over the world, by sports fans just like you.
Don't you dare breathe. That won't get you anywhere. If you don't think you're a winner, you don't belong here.
The Star Fantasy League Show puts you in control of your own team. Find out who to sit, who to start, how to play, and have your daily fantasy sports questions answered with your host, Jonathan Sprong, and co-host Matthew Futter and Nick Steblenko. The Star Fantasy League Show is on the air now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Star Fantasy League Show. I'm your host, Matthew Futter, joined by my counterpart, my co-host, the man who sits to me on my left.
I love you, dude.
Nick Steblenko.
My counterpart, my partner in the beyond.
My SFL buddy for life. We're SFL. We're not Thunder buddies. We're SFL buddies.
Okay, thank you. Thank God.
How you doing, Nick?
I'm doing all right. I'm glad that I don't have to be in a bed cowering about the Thunder with you, but hey, this will do. This is fine.
Fair enough.
The NHL is fantastic. I'm fantastic, so everything's good.
Well, not only are we going to be talking, of course, daily NHL today, we're going to be talking daily NBA because we're back from the All-Star break, and I know how excited how it.
Am I supposed to say yay?
Well, it's only a 2-game slate, so it's only, like a slate.
Or we'll ease back into it.
Like when you get a Hershey chocolate bar and you only get a piece that's broken off, that's what you get today.
Do I look like I only took a little piece off of that chocolate bar?
I'm working on it. I was waiting for you to take that. But before we get into that, we're going to talk about a couple NBA trades that have happened and potential trades that could happen, because we did talk about the deadline. If you checked out our show yesterday on YouTube, SoundCloud, anything like that, we did talk about potential guys getting moved. One of those guys did get moved. Aaron Afalo left the Denver Nuggets, is now going to the Portland Trail Blazers. And
good call on that. Yes, good call on that.
Yeah, I had a little help from some insiders in the NBA helping me out with that. But
you weren't supposed to say that.
Well, I don't have,
we have all the insider info. Pay attention to
I don't
us.
have every GM's on my cell phone, but
we're working on that. We'll get there.
It was kind of a given that Portland had to make some kind of move when everyone else in the West was doing something, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, I really do like the Trailblazers. I know I don't watch a lot of basketball, but I love LaMarcus Aldridge, and I really love Damian Lillard, the fire that he brings to the court. So, yeah, I mean, kind of rounding out that lineup is important. The Western Conference, we know, is the better conference. They are the guys that every night is a battle in the Western Conference. And I mean, I before we even started the show, I asked you, I was like, are you serious? Oklahoma City is really under 500 right now? And they are.
35, yeah.
That's unbelievable. So, I mean, anything can happen, but you have to have a deep squad if you're going to be able to make a deep run in the playoffs in the West.
Definitely. A couple other names being discussed around. Kevin Garnett, who we talked about yesterday. There's rumors he might be involved for a move to the Timberwolves.
Back home, huh?
Back home, yeah.
Back home.
Brooke Lopez being rumored around as well. So not surprised that the names that they've been talking about for a few weeks are still being talked about.
I would say Brooke Lopez is obviously a better piece just because Kevin Garnett's great, or he was great. The guy's worn out. I mean, I don't know that his body would be able to hold up in the conference finals, so to say. I just don't know that he would be able to go that deep into the playoffs.
Yeah, Minnesota's not going to be making the playoffs anytime this year. They're the worst team in the NBA, so I think it's more of a move for salary cap reasons, possibly moving forward. So.
Yeah, maybe they should just get back Ursan, Minnesota. Yeah, they should just load up.
Fair enough. All right, let's jump in. We have 2 games on the NBA tonight. We have Dallas taking on Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City is -5, total of 211.5.
Why?
Yeah.
Why are they -5?
I don't know, honestly. As bad as they've played, they're -5.
Dallas is 36-19. Oklahoma City's 28-35.
I think it's still off the name reputation of who these guys have been in the past. And,
maybe. I mean, we've seen quite a bit of drama in the media with Kevin Durant recently, and I mean, if you really think about it, Kevin Durant has been treated extremely generously by the media. I mean, he is a fantastic player, and I think he is a fantastic person as well. I've never seen any interviews that should, I guess, knock him down a few pegs. He's always been an upstanding guy to me. But the fact of the matter is he doesn't have a championship ring. And regardless, we hold him to such high regards. We hold him in high standards. So,
I mean, he's still a fantastic player. You can't deny that. But
and they're still a fantastic team. But they're not winning.
No, a lot of that has to go into the injury issues that they have faced this year. Both their 2 stars started the season on the disabled list.
You can't do that. And
I mean, Indiana is barely surviving without their 1 star. Imagine not having 2 stars essentially.
Yeah, definitely.
But speaking for daily fantasy play tonight, it's very tough to fill out a 4 games with to fill out a lineup. Some of the guys I like in this game on the Dallas side, I think Monty Ellis has been playing fantastic.
It's like he found another home there in Dallas, and it's almost, I mean, when I watched him in Golden State, he was a ball hog.
Yeah.
That was it.
And that was the problem. The team that they didn't play that team concept. They had a bunch of shooters who couldn't, play that team concept. I think Dirk Nowitzki is another great option tonight. Again, when you're looking for cheaper plays, he's not one of the cheaper ones. I think he's around 11,000 or so, but you know what you're going to get out of him. And again, it's very difficult to fill out with two games tonight.
Dirk's around 11,000, huh?
Yeah, I believe so. I could pull it up real quick, but
I mean, generally, or at least last season, anyways, he was in the 15 to 16.
He's up a little bit. He moved up a bit. He's at 13.7 now, but he's still under what he was last year. So
yeah, I mean, I haven't followed him a lot this year, but it seems to me that would be a fantastic value as long as if the game goes the way that it's supposed to with a 2-11 over/under, that just means that they're going to be running and gunning up and down the floor. Does that suit his style, though? That's the other question.
Yeah,
I would say Monte Ellis, that suits his style a heck of a lot more than Dirk Nowitzki.
It's true. Last 3 games, Dirk has averaged about 26, 27 fantasy points per game. So it's kind of –
If I do remember correctly, and this is coming directly from the master Zach Stanley himself.
Yes, CEO, who should be on the show at some point, I would assume.
You should always go for 2.5 times the salary of the player.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's at 13,000, you obviously double would be 26. Can't do the math, but 33 probably is what you're shooting for.
And he hit 32.5 last game. So if he gets to that,
that's solid.
That's
what
solid.
You're looking for. He's hitting his value then. So.
For sure. Chandler Parsons is another option, I think, as well, who could have a big night. For the guard position, I think J.J. Barea, because he's still filling in for an injured Raja Rondo. And if you're looking for a starting center who's at the minimum, Greg Smith is the starting center, but I would not advocate playing him.
He's the starting center for Dallas? Or for OKC?
For Dallas.
It shows you what I know. Yeah, wow, that doesn't seem right at all. What's Tyson Chandler is injured, or?
Yeah, he's supposed to miss the game tonight. It's not confirmed. Again, you got to watch directly up to basically the starting times for these games.
Well, how many minutes was Chandler getting? He was obviously being the starter. I'm assuming that he was getting a full slate of minutes. Would that mean that Greg
34,
Smith is
38, 30? Yeah.
So is Greg Smith going to come in and take 25 minutes?
It's tough to determine, honestly, because last game he had 23. So
it's
not bad.
Not bad at all. I mean, the fact of the matter is, at the center position, you're going to be looking at rebounds and assists and steals and stuff like that, and easy buckets. And especially on Star Fantasy leagues, you have to worry about shooting percentage. So at the minimum for a center, that seems like a steal. Mm-hmm. I mean, if he gets 23 minutes, okay, yeah, that is a little restrictive. I'm sure the offense isn't going to be running through him, but even still, it's got to be worth consideration.
I think so as well. Oklahoma City side, I think you can't go wrong with Durant or Westbrook, either one of those guys. Reggie Jackson might not be on the team come 3 p.m. today, so monitor that as an option. He's a guy being tossed around. I wouldn't advocate playing Deion Waiters. He's been terrible this season. He's shooting all-time lows.
Really?
Yeah, he has been absolutely I think he's shooting like 27% from three-point land. Something really, really bad. So
that's not good.
So besides those two for Oklahoma City, I don't think there's really many other options, honestly.
Well, I mean, this team, they come and they go as well as Durant and Westbrook can take them. So I got to say, no matter what, though, they have to be worth it. They have to be worth it.
Mm-hmm. For sure. The other game on the schedule tonight, we got San Antonio at the LA Clippers. Total of 203. San Antonio is a -3. I don't think you're going to get popped in this game. I think any of the big guys are in play. Kawhi, Parker, Duncan. I think Danny Green is a good option as well. He's coming off a huge game last game before the All-Star break.
As far as I remember with Danny Green, he needs to get hot and stay hot for him to meet his value, correct?
Yeah, he's kind of like he's in the Kevin Martin school of fantasy.
Against the Clippers, I'm not so sure that I would want that, just because I feel like playing a better team. Danny Green, obviously in the finals, he was fantastic. He was definitely worthy of consideration even as an MVP. But I don't know. It just doesn't seem like the right game to play him in.
Definitely. And from the Clippers side, I think obviously it's the DeAndre Jordan show with Blake Griffin still
Absolutely.
out. CP3 is a great option as well. And I think you take a look at guys like Matt Barnes and Redick to pick up that slack that was missing with Griffin.
Hey, somebody's got to get the points.
Definitely. Coming out of the break, where it's time to jump into the daily NHL, and you're watching the Star Fantasy League Show.
The Star Fantasy League Show. Information is key to being a successful fantasy team owner, and the guys have all the updated info you need right now.
Welcome back to the Star Fantasy League Show. I'm your host, Matthew Futter, joined by Nick Steblenko, and it's Nick's favorite time. It's time for daily NHL.
Hockey. I love it.
You do love it. And when we're saying daily NHL, daily fantasy NHL, of course, this is a fantasy sports show, and we love it here. Daily, season long, weekly, anything is fine with us.
And tonight is a really good slate for the NHL. We have 7 games on the schedule, and there are a couple of really nice matchups on the board, both from a daily fantasy perspective and from just a hockey fan's perspective. It's going to be a really good one.
Sure. All right. A lot of times on the show, we like to jump right in with the games that we're not really interested in, because I think there's always contests, like at least one contest usually on a bigger slate, especially being 7 games tonight, where
Certainly.
you can toss something out. So which games are you not looking at whatsoever tonight, Nick?
Well, I'm interested in every single one of them.
Really?
But not necessarily from a daily fantasy perspective.
Okay.
Let's start with the Florida-Montreal game. I think really the only thing you can count on in this game is that the goaltending is going to be solid.
Yep.
Last time these two teams played, it was a 2-1 win for Montreal. Carey Price is on fire lately, and he's really putting his name in the hat for the Vezina Trophy. I would say it's Pekka Rinne's right now, but Carey Price is having a fantastic season for Montreal. And really, the Habs haven't been that awesome on offense. Last night they had a golden opportunity to bury the Senators
against Andrew
Hammond. Yep. Hey. And they just didn't. They didn't do it. And I can't say that I'm that surprised. It certainly rubbed me the wrong way. But so I'm going to stay away from this one for the most part. If you can fit Carey Price in, go right ahead. Florida is not the most offensive-minded team, but he's going to be expensive. I believe he's $23,000 or something around there. So that's expensive. Play him in your head-to-head games. I don't know about the GPPs though.
All right, so we're kind of avoiding the Florida Panthers at the Montreal Canadiens tonight. Any other games that you're kind of leaning towards not playing any players?
Yeah, the other one would be Nashville at the Islanders. I am going to be watching this game just because
Islanders being one of the higher scoring teams.
Actually, both of these teams are in the top 5 in scoring in the NHL. But the goaltending has been really solid. You can look at Nashville. I would say Nashville is certainly worth a look. But this game is in New York, and the Islanders have been really solid at home. I'm just Pekka Rinne is just unbelievable right now. He is really on fire. He's been lights out. So I don't think the Islanders are going to have an easy go of it. And to be completely honest, I just don't know which way this game is going to go. I'll be watching this one because I'm going to love it. It's two of the best teams in the NHL going at it.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's start with some of the games that you are interested in. We got the Vancouver Canucks plus 140 at the New York Rangers tonight, minus 160. Starting goaltender is Ryan Miller versus Cam Talbot. Yeah,
the last time these two teams played, the Rangers absolutely smoked them. They won 5-1, and the only difference is that Henrik Lundqvist isn't in net. So maybe the Canucks can find a couple of goals, but I love the Rangers tonight. Rick Nash has to be at the top of your list. He's kind of near the maximum on StarFantasyLeagues.com, but he's been having an unbelievable season. He's back to form. It's like he's going back to his Blue Jackets days, and he's finally remembering that he can fly out there. So he's great. I also love Matt Zuccarello on that same line. Derek Brassard and Derek Stepan are having great seasons as well, so they're all worth consideration. I would absolutely give a look to Ryan McDonough as well. He's having a great couple of games.
Yeah, Rangers are coming off a very disappointing loss against the Islanders the other night. I watched most of that game.
No, they won.
Oh, excuse me. Yes, Islanders.
Yes.
When we get to that, the Islanders blew.
They should have lost.
Yeah.
They should have lost. It was 5-3 in the third.
Islanders blew. Actually, they blew 3 2-goal leads in that game.
Exactly.
So, excuse me. I meant to say the Islanders are coming off that.
But I think the Rangers are a great play tonight.
Yeah. All right. Winnipeg plus 140 at the Washington Capitals minus 160. Andre Pavlich versus Braden Holtby.
I was really hoping that Pavlich would play in this one. I think the Capitals are a full go tonight. Okay. Alexander Ovechkin is just unbelievable lately.
36 goals?
37 now. He's leading the NHL.
Yep.
And he's had, I believe, 5 goals in his last 5 games. Yeah. Don't quote me on that, but he's just been tearing it up. He's at the maximum, so it's going to be tough to get him in. But if you can get him in, he might score again, and he might score multiple times. So
I look for ways every game to get him in. I don't care. He's matchup proof, honestly.
The biggest thing with this team is this team goes as their power play goes. They always have, as long as Ovechkin's been around. So everybody on that top power play needs to be considered. Marcus Johansson, Nick Backstrom, Troy Brouwer, and Mike Green, who he's the setup man for Alex Ovechkin. Literally all he does, here you go, Ovi.
Yeah.
Here you go, Ovi.
Ovi sits on the left side, right near the end line. It just
fires away.
Fires away. Yep, definitely.
I don't know why they don't just put 2 guys on him sometimes, but obviously you can't really do that. Everybody in the NHL is skilled.
Yeah. Would you look at a guy like Brian Little or someone who's been playing fantastic for Winnipeg?
Yeah, that top line for Winnipeg is good, and not just Brian Little either. Andrew Ladd and Blake Wheeler, both of them are very good. The trouble that, with this team right now is that they don't know where Drew Stafford fits in. He was slated to start on that first line, then he was on the second line, then the first line. We have to wait and see. We have to wait and see what happens with the morning skate. And honestly, I mean, I don't know that I'm going to be touching anybody outside of that top line. Maybe Tyler Myers. He might be fitting in pretty nicely, and he is at a value price under $7,000. But other than that, Winnipeg is kind of up in the air for me.
Fair enough. Columbus Blue Jackets plus 190 at the Pittsburgh Penguins minus 230. Curtis McElhinney.
Hasn't been determined yet.
Versus Marc-Andre Fleury, which is confirmed. So
yeah, the Blue Jackets are kind of they're slowly falling out of favor as far as the playoff race goes. They're 11 points behind the Bruins for the second wild card spot, and Curtis McElhinney's been up and down. Originally, when he took over the spot for Bobrovsky, he had I believe he was below a 900 save percentage. Not very good.
No.
And he's had games where he's been fantastic. He's had games where he's been subpar. So I like Pittsburgh in this one. They are a heavy favorite. I don't know that I trust a minus 230 on that one, but at the same time, they should win. The question is whether or not they can put up the goals. I love the top 2 lines right now. They're really clicking. David Perron in particular is a great value play. He's playing on the wing with Crosby and Kunitz. But, anybody from Pittsburgh is really worth consideration. We know what firepower they bring.
They do. Now, would this be a time, though, if you're playing in a big tournament, that you would avoid those top guys, figuring everyone else might have them in?
Yeah, maybe, but I don't necessarily know that this is the game that they're going to be picking from. I think you're going to see more Philadelphia. I think you're going to see more Washington. So Pittsburgh, I think, is in play. I'm really thrown off by that line. I'm not really sure what's going on.
Okay. Well, let's talk about one of those teams you just mentioned, the Buffalo Sabres, plus 220 at the Philadelphia Flyers, minus 260. These teams just played on Sunday. It was a 2-1 win, I believe, for Philadelphia.
Yep.
Most likely will be Michael Neuwirth in that versus Ray Emery. Anybody from Buffalo's side?
What else is there to say about Buffalo? This team is done. They've cashed it in, but this is a rivalry game.
It is.
So don't be surprised if this is another 2-1 game.
They played them tough. It was 1-1 for most of the game. The Philadelphia scored a goal late.
What tends to happen in these types of games sometimes is that one team, the favored team, they get a big head, and they're arrogant. They come in, they think they're going to walk all over them. If you look through the 2 games that the Flyers have played against the Sabres this year, Claude Giroux and Jakub Voracek really haven't been on the score sheet. I believe maybe they have 2 points between the 2 of them. So I think you need to look at some of the value guys in this one.
Go Wayne Simmons, maybe?
Wayne Simmons has been on fire lately. I love him, and his price is great. He's on the power play, and he's the guy in front of the net. So any rebounds, tip-ins, any of that stuff, he's the guy for that.
I think he has points in 5 straight games.
You got it.
He's been playing fantastic for them.
One other value play I was looking at is Matt Reed. He has been on the second line. He's below $7,000, which is a great price. And he actually has been pretty decent against the Sabres. I think he has a goal and an assist in 2 games. For a player of his status, that's pretty solid. So you have to be creative with the Flyers tonight. They're the team, I think, that are going to be the heaviest owned. Ray Emery, in particular, he's the goaltender's minimum, $11,000.
Yeah, I was about to say, would you consider playing him tonight?
Absolutely. He had a great showing last time against the Sabres, and he hasn't been great all year, and he's definitely cause for concern, but at $11,000, you really can't argue.
All right. Last game before the break, before we give you a winning lineup for both NBA and NHL today, we got the San Jose Sharks minus 110 at the Dallas Stars minus 110.
Pick them.
Love it. San Jose has been playing very disappointing. Most likely will be Anthony Niemi tonight versus Kari Lehtinen. So,
this actually is one of my favorite games to pick from tonight because I think it's going to be the highest scoring.
Because it's a pick 'em?
Yeah.
Pick them.
Well, last time these guys played, there were 8 goals scored.
Yeah.
So I think you need to pick from this game.
It's one thing these teams don't lack is firepower.
No, they don't. Although the Stars will be missing Tyler Seguin still.
Yep.
He's out for an extended period. And in his absence, Jamie Benn and Jason Spezza have been unreal. They have just been carrying the load. So I think both of them need to be considered. Jamie Benn is still under 15,000, great value. Jason Spezza under 11. So both of those guys definitely worth a shot. On San Jose's side, you can go with anybody from the top 6. I particularly like Logan Couture and Matthew Nieto, who's at the minimum.
What about a guy like Brent Burns?
Brent Burns is always in. I love it.
We love the
I'd knock
caveman.
out my 2 front teeth just to look like Brent Burns.
But will he be in your lineup, though? We'll have to find out. Coming back on the Star Fantasy League Show.
Now, let's get back to it. The Star Fantasy League Show. Feel free to tweet the show at SF Leagues.
We are back on the Star Fantasy League Show. I'm your host, Matthew Futter. You can tweet me at SFLMatt. I got my co-host here, Nick Steblenko. You can tweet him at SFLNick, as it says right below us right now.
Yay.
We can't see that, but the viewers can.
I love your energy, man. You really got it going on.
You know what?
You're in their face. Right there.
Oh,
right
yeah,
there.
Exactly. All right, it's time to give you our winning lineups that you could put in on StarFantasyLeagues.com for both NBA and NHL, because the NBA is back and you got plenty of options now. We got baseball starting in a few weeks, so
we've been pretty solid, so let's see if we can keep it rolling.
All right, I'm going to start with my lineup tonight for the NBA. Again, it's very difficult when it's only a 2-game slate. You got 4 teams to choose from. For my guards, of course, you put in 3 guards, 3 forwards, a center, and a utility on StarFantasyLeagues.com. I'm going with J.J. Barea at 7,600 for the Mavs. Chris Paul, I think he's going to have a nice game tonight going up against a big opponent. He usually steps up in those types of games. He's coming in around 20,000. And then I'm rolling with Danny Green at 12,000.
Okay.
I think coming off his effort, I believe he had almost 40 fantasy points last game before the break.
On a night like tonight, he's one of those make-or-break guys. So
Yep.
if he gets hot and he's on fire, you're good to go.
Definitely. My forwards, got to go with Kawhi. I think every time there's not a chance of a tough matchup, essentially, I always put him in just because he's kind of matchup proof, I feel.
All right.
My other forward is going to be Matt Barnes at 10,000 with Blake Griffin not in the lineup. I feel like someone's going to pick up that slack besides just DeAndre Jordan.
Sure.
And my other forward is going to be Chandler Parsons at 13,300 as well.
Not bad.
My center is going to be a value center tonight. I'm going off of the projected lineup today. It's going to be Aaron Baines from San Antonio. He is the starting center at this point. He's coming off about 20-plus minutes last game.
Okay.
He's only at just under 6,000.
So you're avoiding the Greg Smith, is that?
I am. I'm gonna roll with Baines and see if I can get a little more out of him.
Solid.
And for my utility player tonight, I'm rolling with Monte Ellis at 14,000.
I like that one. I think the pace of the game is going to be a help for him.
Definitely.
So,
what do you think?
Pretty solid. I'm surprised you didn't have DeAndre Jordan in there.
I originally tried to put him in my lineup, but it was very tough to fit him in based on that. So that
enough.
could bite me.
Fair enough.
Depending on what type of game you put
It's a
that
tough
in.
night.
Yeah,
It's
it
a
is
tough night.
definitely a tough night. All right, time for Nick to put his winning NHL lineup in.
All righty. Well, we'll start with the left wing position here. I'm going to go with both of the top line guys. I know they're not obviously playing left wing together, but Chris Kunitz and David Perron, I'm going to go with both of them. Kunitz is coming in under 11,000, so good value for him considering most of the time he's up at 14,000. And then David Perron, who is still under 9,000. Great value for both of them playing
guys,
on the top line. My right wingers are going to be Wayne Simmons. I love Wayne Simmons lately. He's been on fire.
I do too. He's been fantastic.
And then a value play for you. Corey Tropp, if he plays, because Nick Foligno may be out for this game. He's at 6,000. If Foligno is in, obviously that's a total wash. You shouldn't have him in at all. But make sure you check out the lineup, because if he's out, Corey Tropp will be on the top line.
Ex-Buffalo Sabre right there.
The two centers, I'm going to go with Jason Spezza. He's under 11,000, and he's been helping carry the load. He's been on the top line with Jamie Benn, and I think the two of them are going to be great plays for tonight. And then Marcus Johansson. I think Washington's going to have a great night against the Winnipeg Jets, especially with Pavlich in net, and he's on that top power play, so anything is possible.
Playing the second line, right? Second line wing usually? Okay.
Yes, he is. Same team. My defenseman is starting defenseman is going to be Mike Green. Like I said, he's really just kind of passing the puck off on the power play. He has a ton of assists this season. He's been great since he came back. And then a value defenseman, Tyler Myers. He's been doing okay for Winnipeg. We'll see how he does tonight. My goalie is going to be Ray Emery at 11,000.
Oh, you're rolling with Ray, man.
You can't ignore the value there. And then my play of the night, flex position.
Play of the night.
Sidney Crosby.
Really?
I'm going with Crosby.
So you got Perrin, Kunitz, and Crosby.
I got the whole top
there.
line in, baby.
Oh, man. That could really make or break you right there.
It could, and I think it will make me.
But it could make or break you if you put in your lineup at starfantasyleagues.com. We got the best in weekly, daily, season-long games. We got season-long baseball making its debut this year.
Oh, yes. It's going to be good.
It is going to be great. And remember, you can take these lineups and you can win some real money at starfantasyleagues.com. Join us tomorrow for the Star Fantasy League Show.